watch Baywatch, we watch Baywatch, we watch Baywatch, and I want to die. Yay! This was a bad movie.
Yeah, it was. Well, yes, it was.
Yeah, it was a bad movie.
It was nearly a walkout movie.
But we thought
very close.
We had to stick through it though, for the sake of this. CINEMAGGOTS. Okay. Anyway, we watched Baywatch, and it was bloody fucking terrible.
Yes.
I have never watched the show Baywatch myself. I just know.
You missed out.
Yeah, as I've heard, I've missed out. All I know about it is just bouncing tits. That's all I know. I just know
slow-mo boobs,
slow-mo dicks,
slow-mo bouncing willies,
and VIP Pamela Anderson and
Mr. Hasselhoff
and the Hoffman, and that's all I know. And I had an idea that it was going to be cheesy and it was going to be 80s drums or 90s, whenever the hell the show was on, and it was going to be very kind of saving the day kind of, but just way much lower scale.
That's what I expected too, because that is what it was like.
Right. So that was basically.
So we both went in with that same kind of idea.
Well, I went in just with the idea, but you went in as someone who enjoyed the show when it was on.
Yeah, I watched it when it was on, but I watched it from a kid. I was a kid when it was on.
Yeah.
So whether I would still enjoy the show now as an adult, I don't know. But I remember liking it as a kid, so I thought, loved it then.
So
Let's give it a go.
Karis has got more of a connection to this and had a slightly different look to what she was expecting with the film that I did. Even if you haven't seen the show, you know what Baywatch is going to be like. I was not expecting a masterpiece. I was not expecting anything other than them exploiting tits and exploiting arses and everything.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest, as far as arse exploitation and everything goes, the beginning was a bit arsey.
There wasn't that much.
But there wasn't much.
There wasn't that much.
No.
Booble. But really?
No. Bit of penis.
I was going to say
there was actually more penis. There was more male nudity than female nudity. But either way, that wasn't.
Which makes a nice change from the original.
Yes, I suppose so.
Well, I thought it was going to be quite a light-hearted, like a look back to the 80s, 90s, whenever it was, and kind of embrace what it was, and possibly even improve it with the budget they have, and the fact that technology has moved on. Blah blah blah.
Or if it wasn't going to do that, to make fun about how bad it was.
Yeah.
But it didn't do that either.
They tried. You can see where they tried. They definitely tried to embrace some of the original cheesiness.
Well, it's like, okay, so there's a bit in the film where a boat's on fire and the fire looks bloody dreadful from a distance.
I was going to say, the fire looked really bad.
Yeah, but
really bad.
But the thing is, it looks really bad, and you think there's going to be some kind of joke or stab at the original. They don't. It's actually, they play it seriously. The whole point of the film is that Baywatch are just supposed to be lifeguards, but they end up in situations that are ridiculously overblown. Which they do.
Which is true to the original. They do end up in ridiculously complicated situations. They end up solving massive
international conspiracies and stuff.
Which the police can't solve, and they end up solving everything.
So that's the idea.
So they tried to do that.
So in one of the scenes of the film, you get one of the Baywatch team who has a phone on her, and they're hiding in the middle of a frozen body morgue bit.
Yeah.
And she's filming the bad guys doing the thing that they were trying to prove to the police that they were doing. She films it, they get caught, the phone gets broken, that's fine. But then in like 2 scenes later, you get The Rock coming in. Mitch was his name? Mitch comes in with his partner, Zac Efron, who's Matt Brody, yeah. So then they go off and do their thing because they're trying to investigate the fishmongers to find out if there's drugs being transported through the fish. And they find actual evidence of that happening. No one has a phone. But instead of it being a joke that they could have made or someone could have said like, oh, anything about it, it's actually then thrown in as no one mentions it as a kind of, well, why didn't you bring a phone or anything? In fact, no. They have a phone.
They were on a phone.
They rang the fucking...
They were on a phone.
Why didn't they film it then?
They didn't film it.
But so it's like, it not only doesn't make sense, but they don't refer to it. It's like they don't realise what they've done wrong. It's like...
Maybe they didn't realise.
Oh, yeah.
That was a thing.
Maybe, I don't know, but then it's like there's the other bit with the stereotypical nerdy kid. That's when I knew I wasn't going to enjoy this film. When I know it's trying to embrace the cheesy cliches.
Yeah.
But even Pixels did the whole nerd thing with a tiny bit more dignity. Like, you have the film starts and there's beautiful beach shots and everybody's like thin and everything.
Yeah.
And then here comes the only person in the entire beach with like 3/4 length shorts on, a t-shirt with Donkey Kong on
A
it.
little bit overweight.
And overweight, yes, overweight, socially awkward.
Yeah.
And with his drone and his tablet, he's the only he sticks out like a sore thumb. They've done that all on purpose. He ends up being a part of the Baywatch team.
He ends up being almost a hero.
Yeah.
At the end, and you just know that's gonna happen. From the second he gets hired.
Well, from the second you
as a
see him.
lifeguard, and
yeah.
like he can't
Basically-
even really be a lifeguard very well.
No.
He doesn't.
No, he's
he
not
shouldn't-
physically able.
No.
He's the comedy relief, so he's already useless. He's socially awkward. He doesn't like blood. That's a running joke of the film. But the first thing you see in the film is someone who smacks their head against a rock under the water. So he gets hired because he has a good heart. But he's in a competition to become a part of the team.
He failed on the CPR exercise, which is like standard.
So
basic training.
yeah, but they don't even talk about how useless. They don't make a joke about how useless he is. He's just useless. That's the joke. And then the other guy, Matt Brody, Zac Efron, comes in.
Who didn't even do the trial.
No.
And he got the job. The nerdy kid couldn't do the job, but he was given the job.
And then there was the lady.
The lady Summer. I think she's the only one that could do the job and got the job.
Yeah.
The other two, technically, shouldn't have.
But they're all people you meet in the first 2 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's shit that doesn't make sense, isn't it? But it doesn't ever notice how much it doesn't make sense, which it should do, because if it's trying to parody or embrace that style, it needs to kind of realise that it's doing that. And the only time it does that is at the very, very, very end when Pamela Anderson comes in.
Yeah.
Because she comes in slow motion, and she's the only one on the whole shot that's actually moving in slow motion. That's the only time.
Which is, let's face it, most of the reason people watch Baywatch.
Yes, absolutely. But even at the beginning of the film, when they tried to make a joke about the slow-mo thing, so she comes out of the beach, and that's where the nerdy kid has his fucking orgasm, because that's what nerdy kids do, you know? So she comes out onto the beach, and they all go, oh my god, how does she move in slow motion? But on the shot, everyone in the background's also moving in slow motion, so even that joke doesn't work, because it's obvious that they've just slowed it down in post, so the characters cannot be seeing her moving in slow motion, because everyone else is.
Yeah, the slow-mo joke worked at the end, because it was just Pamela Anderson that was in slow-mo, but at the beginning, like you say, it fell flat on its face a bit.
Sorry, this isn't piss, sorry. This is how weak I like my squash. It looks like urine.
It's disgusting.
But it's not. It's orange squash.
I don't
dead
know
serious.
how you can drink it like that.
It's my lovely piss.
It's nasty.
It structures itself like an episode of the TV show, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's like they get a 20-minute, 25-minute episode of the TV show, stick it in an editing software, and then stretch it out to
It goes on.
2
How long
hours,
was
mate.
it?
2 hours, I think.
It felt like a lot longer than that.
It was so.
It felt like about a 3-hour long film.
It's a film where nothing happens and there's chat.
Yeah.
Which isn't funny, doesn't build any character development, because I thought the chemistry was shit. I didn't think the acting was necessarily bad, apart from Zac Efron. I didn't think he was that charismatic or anything at all, which he should have been. He was the token dickhead. He was the cocky token dickhead. He should have been like Malfoy, you know?
He should have been more hateful.
He should have been Malfoy, but he wasn't.
He wasn't.
And when you know where the story's going with they're gonna end up together.
Oh yeah.
And The Rock and Zac Efron are going to like each other in the end, and everyone's gonna get you when you can see all that coming. And again, it doesn't make any jokes about how obvious or cliched that is. So you got that, but it's structured like an episode of the TV show. But you have the bits of action which would be fun in a TV show every 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, and even that wasn't done very well. Like the effects were. They were dreadful.
Well, the
they?
action
They were
itself was
awful.
boring. The first action scene you see is the best one. The one where the lady's doing the windsurfing and then she smacks her head on the side of the rock when she falls off. The very beginning of the film.
Yeah, actually that wasn't too badly done.
They had slow-mo in the right bits. The title coming out from behind the sea as the rock lifted her out. That was cool. All of that is done pretty well.
And then it goes.
Yeah, because then everything after that, when they're on the bikes and going through the beach, they're going in a straight line down the beach.
Yeah.
You can shake the camera and put the all you want. They're going in a straight line.
Yes.
There's like 2 stunts when they're on the water. They go over a deck and then they go on to the land, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, nothing interesting happens in the chases, or when they're running, it's just an open beach. You can't make it interesting.
But did you notice, like, they saw the mum and her 2 kids falling off
Yeah.
a pier or whatever
Yes,
it was
yes,
they
yes,
found.
yes, yes.
So they could see that. Yet they seem to be driving in their Jeeps for about 10 miles down the beach,
Yeah.
even though it happened right in front of them, just to get a chase scene.
Yeah. And then obviously Zac Efron, the dickhead, yes, but the guy that's clearly more physically able than the nerdy kid, who stays on the beach being a coward, but then Zac Efron actually tries to be useful and actually does save someone. He gets penalised for it. I never understood that complex, because especially in the trial bit at the very beginning when Zac Efron's trying to get into the lifeguard job, he's doing all of his gymnastics and he's like all completely fucking ripped and everything.
He's changed.
Oh, he's not High School Musical anymore.
I was quite surprised at the rippling biceps. Like, I wasn't expecting to see that.
I'm very sorry, I can't live up to that.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with this. Where is it? Where is it?
It's not there.
Where is
No.
it? Oh, it's fallen down.
Look.
It's fallen off.
That's as much as I can give.
That's lovely, look.
No, it's not.
That's great.
Shut up. Anyway, so he does all this stuff and it's very impressive and everything. But that doesn't impress The Rock, and then he comes in and is like, okay, well now you have to go against me. So then The Rock's like lifting fridges and stuff, and because he can't lift fridges and everything, he's still giving him a hard time.
Then why doesn't he give Nerdy Boy?
Why doesn't he give Nerdy Boy a hard time? It doesn't make any sense. So it's like, so all of the dialogue between Zac Efron and The Rock in the first 20 minutes, he's like, hey One Direction, hey NSYNC, don't do that, Bieber. And he's just calling him things, not names, not creative things.
But that was part of the thing, is that once you've earned my respect, I'll call you by your name.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is that in the script, it's not creative. He's not calling him names. He's just saying, hey, One Direction, hey, NSYNC. But the people behind us, every time any word was spoken, they were like...
anything. She was
They
literally...
were applauds.
She was pissing herself.
Yeah.
And at one point... they were laughing so much, they were like...
Any mention of the word dick, fuck, shit, any word that was said.
Very much.
No.
I think that was the first date in a long time.
They just found everything that was insufferable.
They were more entertaining than the movie.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. Well, okay, what they did laugh at, and I kind of found funny, was the bit in the morgue.
The morgue bit. But I laughed at that not because it was a dick. I'm sure they laughed at it just because it was a dick. There's a bit in the film where there's a dead frozen man's penis, and this...
Do you reckon it's his real?
That looked real, yeah. That looked like a real body.
I couldn't really...
But if
no, he was real. I just don't know whether the bits were...
But it's just a dick fiddling. It's a dick fiddling, but it's a dead body, which is why I felt it was quite funny. And like The Rock's taking pictures of Zac Efron fiddling with this dead man's balls.
Actually, wouldn't it be hard if he was dead?
I don't know,
like
honestly.
rigor mortis.
I wouldn't have...
Wouldn't it be...
Isn't it just fat, though? There's no blood going to it unless it's erect. I've got one and I don't know how it works.
Oh, no.
Oh. That there was funnier than anything in the movie.
I'll cut that bit out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bit we had to lift up some scrotum.
Yeah. And that was moderately funny.
And then when they were actually hiding in the, I don't know what you call them, but the
canisters,
like
the morgue
lockers,
canisters, the lockers,
but the bodies are sliding out. That was kind of funny too.
Yeah, and the fat starts dripping on his face. Yeah, but it's funny to me because not because of what's going on, but because it's dead people.
Yeah.
I like that dark.
You like dead people.
Well, it's like they're dead. Why would it be funny? It's not. They're dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that was one more joke I liked. The fact that in The Rock's house, he has a mini me in his fish tank that represents his emotions, how he's feeling.
Yeah, that was
quite funny.
So
when he's feeling good, he's on the dolphin with his stick, and then when he's watching someone, he's got the binoculars out,
and it's like a little, and
he's like that when he's sad, and it's a little toy in the fish tank. I thought that was very funny. That's it though. That's all I can say. All I can say. The surprise element isn't there because
the character's coming back.
Well, yeah, because it says at the beginning of the fucking film, David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson's in it, but
you said, didn't you? It would be 5-minute cameo.
Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah, because it said when they listed the people, it said with David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson.
I wish they hadn't done that.
Yeah, but the problem is, this is what I was trying to say after the film was over. It's clearly been done to make money. The
Yeah,
end.
of course.
It's been done, and that's what
Yeah.
I find quite sad about it, because for whatever reason, spoilers for 7, if you haven't seen 7, skip about 2 minutes ahead, I think. Like, I was saying this earlier, which is a very weird comparison, but for the sake of the art, it makes sense. So you get 7, right? But you have an all A-star cast, especially for the time. Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, Kevin
A-star?
Spacey. Yeah, everyone big's in it.
Everyone's
Yeah?
in it.
Yeah, there's trailers
They're
going
all in
around
it.
and everything, right?
Yeah,
There's,
it's a great movie.
so there's all this stuff going on, and yet with their biggest stars on there, because Kevin Spacey was a big name by that point, you're watching the film and you're trying to figure out what's going on and trying to figure out who this John Doe killer is and everything, and then you see Kevin Spacey come out with his fingerprints cut off and everything, and it's like, what the fuck's going on? And then it's a twist because you don't expect the character to be like that, but then at the end of the film it says, and also starring Kevin Spacey, once you figure out he was the killer, right? If his name was at the beginning of the film or on the posters to sell it, the whole element of, we haven't seen Kevin Spacey for this whole film.
So he must be...
So he must be the killer, and he must be appearing at the end, But they did it for the sake of the art. They had these massive names to sell the film, but they didn't use them. And they use it for the sake of making it a good mystery crime film. But then this thing comes along,
I know,
clearly, with the only 2 surprises it has in its bag, bringing back the old, who, I gotta be honest, came back in funny ways. Hasselhoff was funny when they're saying,
That was good.
Mitch, what do I do, Mitch? Well, Mitch, you
like
do this,
his-
Mitch, and Mitch, and Mitch. They're
It
both
was
called
like
Mitch.
his kind of, almost like his conscience
Yeah.
figure, wasn't he?
Yeah, and that's
was
funny.
funny.
But the surprise element, and therefore, because I saw everybody talking in the audience, I wanted to see everyone's reactions when Hasselhoff came on, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's like, yeah, but you knew he was going to be in it." I'm not going to go too much into it, but the editing I thought wasn't too great either. It was very, very basic, but not basic in a bad way, but basic in the sense of when you have the title of the people on the cast coming out, it was doing a kind of, here's some footage, then a name, here's some footage, then a name with a black screen.
Yeah.
But it wasn't doing it like footage cut to a name on a black screen, footage cut to a name on a black screen. It was going footage, black screen, fade in name on a random part of the screen, up there, down there, over there, and then fade out again to black screen, and then cut.
Bit messy.
It's very messy. If you're gonna do the fadey thing, then fade into the black, or have the names come up on top, or just cut to the names. And then on the first time that The Rock jumps off of, when he's saving his first person before the title of the film comes up, when he's saving his first person, he jumps off of the rocks.
The Rock off the rocks.
The Rock off the rocks.
Yeah.
So he's jumping into the sea, and the camera cuts to his foot as he's making a slow-mo jump. But on the slow-mo cut, his foot is on a stone that's the same width of his shoe, or whatever he's wearing, and then as soon as it cuts, he was on a flat, massive bit of rock. So it's just, and I noticed there was continuity errors there. People were having drinks, and then in the next shot, were just not holding anything, and then they'd cut back and they'd be having a drink again. It's a TV episode with a very boring, awful villain and boring, uninteresting stuff going on that's then stretched out with too much talking, too much going to parties, too much undercover stuff.
Too much parties.
Yeah, but there's like 2 party scenes that are the same thing. They're not interesting.
There's 2 boat parties.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then there's house parties.
But see, the character development and everything is just so bad and everything. But when you've already got a predictable story where you can see what all the characters are going to be doing at the end of it in the first 15 minutes, all the chit-chat needs to then be funny on its own, because you can't have it interesting, because you know how it's going to... There's no point having an awkward scene between the nerd and the smoking hot blonde, and then having you think, oh, poor nerdy kid, because you know they're going to kiss at the end. What's the point?
Yeah.
But,
And they do.
And they do.
They do.
And at the very end, the other thing that we said at the very beginning, The Rock comes on with a massive amount of adrenaline and does this amazing speech about scratching his back with whale dicks, which I found quite funny. And then he blows up the main bad guy with a firework, like right in her face. And then
it was good.
Yeah, and then she blows up, and then her shoe falls down, and it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And then her arm falls down. Foot. Sorry. I thought it was her arm.
I thought it was
but
foot.
Either way, a body falls.
It
A
was
body
a
part
limb.
falls. A limb falls down.
Yeah.
And it flops around, and it's funny, and it's an awesome, like, that is what I was expecting. Over the top, cheesy ridiculousness, Evil Dead kind of thing. It's patchy. That's what you said, wasn't it?
It is patchy.
Yeah, that's all I've got to say about it. So,
Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say.
Either way, I'm going to give it 2 maggots out of a rock.
2.
2 maggots out of a rotting horse carcass. We
Wow.
nearly walked out. There was the ending and 1 or 2 gags, And
we're not going to buy it.
And we're not
which
going
is
to buy
another,
it.
like,
No. So 2 maggots out of a
2 for
rotting
you.
horse carcass.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it much better. I'm going to go 3.
Also, the music choices were lazy. They have Beach Boys in there. Guess why?
Because it's beach.
Because they're on a beach. Anyway, so until the next CINEMAGGOTS, if it's your birthday you're watching this video, happy freaking birthday to you. Please remember to drink piss. And what do you say?
Oh, what do I say?
See you later. How can you forget that?
I need a new one.
Yeah,
that doesn't roll off the tongue
what can
very
you say?
well.
What are you gonna say?
I don't know.
Great. Bye, everybody.
I'll get it right by next time.